Say, Jared,
Hey, Josh.
you ever notice that Gotham has the worst city planning in movie history?
I mean, I suppose, yeah.
Every area sounds dangerous, right? There's no nice neighborhoods.
Right.
You got the Narrows, Crime Alley, Arkham. There's nowhere that in Gotham that sounds like you're going to go find a farmer's market around the corner.
Certainly not. I don't think they have many farmers market days in Gotham. I don't know if there's really much bright, anything bright or exciting in Gotham. But it's where Batman thrives.
Mm-hmm. Hey, welcome back to Screen Time Film, a podcast where we discuss a director's filmography in chronological order. We are currently covering Christopher Nolan, and you are joining us on our journey to the Odyssey. Hashtag Journey to the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Today we are discussing Batman Begins. So, Jared, it's not who I am on the podcast, but what I do that defines me.
I wasn't sure. You were like going for the voice and then kind of not. You were going back and forth.
It's hard with my my scratchiness I got going on right now.
Yeah.
So my name is Josh. This is my co-host Jared.
Why do we fall, Josh? So we can learn to pick ourselves up.
Yep.
Also, death does not wait for you to be ready. Just another great line.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna cover a little of the stats, the film on the up, at the front. Then we'll do our overall thoughts. Talk about the plot and what worked and we thought it didn't work. Cinematography, score, some trivia, and then the overall theme or message we think that the director's covering.
So real quick, I was just thinking about this is our journey to the Odyssey. You think about it, isn't that a little redundant? Journey to the Odyssey.
Odyssey
doesn't really,
can be
you
a
know
journey.
what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
Odyssey
like,
is a journey.
it's kind of.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
well.
Journey or Odyssey? No. See, that's not.
I know.
It's not redundant because the Odyssey is the film.
Yes, but I mean, like, just as a sentence, it's kind of like strange. But I don't know. We didn't really put much thought into it, but
It was just on the whim.
yeah, we'll workshop it though. Let us know if there's something better.
Let us know. All right, this film came out in 2005. PG-13, so first PG-13 film, right? I think all of them are up to this point.
Oh yeah,
It's
right.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
After witnessing his parents' death, billionaire Bruce Wayne learns the art of fighting to confront injustice. When he returns to Gotham as Batman, he must stop a secret society that intends to destroy the city. This was obviously directed by Christopher Nolan, written by David S. Goyer and Christopher Nolan. Cinematography, Wally Fitzer.
Mm-hmm.
Same guy we've been. But then composer, we have Hans Zimmer, but then also James Newton Howard listed.
Didn't know that he was also involved.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
What has he done before? Do you know who he is? Or
Yeah, he we talked about him before you, and I want to say on the pod.
See if you don't know, that's fine.
No, I don't know off the top of my head.
All right. So then production costs. What is your guess?
I mean, this has to be a lot more. The last film was, although I shouldn't really even think about comparing it to that, just because we're now in the superhero era. But actually, this is what sets up and pioneers a lot of things, which is interesting. I'm not gonna go too crazy, even though I think it might even be higher than this. I'm gonna go 100 million.
150.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Already 150 in 2005, man.
All right, and then this was nominated for Best Achievement in Cinematography.
That's it.
For Academy Award. That was all it was nominated for.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I guess the next one's gonna win as far as Batman films. Yeah, I'm sure he got some stuff for the other ones.
I forgot to look this up after.
What's up?
So we've got talent-wise, we got Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Liam Neeson, Katie Holmes, Gary Oldman, Cillian Murphy, Morgan Freeman, and Larry Holden. Do you have anybody else down besides that?
I do. I have 2 more people.
Okay.
So one is Rutger Hauer, who is like the douchebag board member.
Oh yeah, I guess he's
so.
yeah.
I mean, he's Roy Batty in Blade Runner, like one of the best characters.
Oh right.
He's just like, he's a. And then the other person, I had to confront this because I was like, this looks so much like him.
This is what I was looking up.
The little kid.
Yeah, the kid is it's
Joffrey.
Joffrey. Yeah,
so Jack Gleason. It is him.
Okay.
When you were watching it, were you like, is that guy? Because it
correct.
looks...
And well, the problem was I because just my week was crazy.
Right.
I had already was putting together this stuff on my notes. So unlike normal, I went through that, and so I didn't catch his name because I'm not familiar with his name. Then when I was watching the film on the plane, I was like, dude, that's got to be Joffrey. That's got to be. He looks like him.
He looks just Yep, it's him.
And then I was like, oh, I need to look it up, but then I forgot by the time I landed and all that stuff. And then just looking at now is what I was thinking. So that's hilarious and awesome. But yeah,
just a little kid in this.
Yeah, he did something recently. Wasn't he in something recently?
Yeah,
he took a long break
did.
because he was hated so much.
I know.
I mean, it's like, dude, you play a villain and you do a good job at it, and then people, give you think you're that person, right? And it's like, dude, he's just a normal guy.
I know. That's how much he crushed that role that he literally had to stop acting for a while. Yeah.
All right. Well, overall thoughts.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, it's definitely something I've seen this one multiple times.
Same.
And not that long ago, not sometime in the last 5 years, we rewatched these films.
All 3 of them.
Well, I think we never got around to watching the third one.
Okay.
Dark Knight Rises.
Right.
But I know we watched the first and second one with the kids and stuff. It was probably I don't think it was during COVID, but still kind
around
of
that time.
Post 2021, maybe 20. When we were just something we could watch, and then I was like, oh, you guys never seen these? We should watch these. These are good. Yeah. So it wasn't that too long ago watching this, but I mean, I think this thing holds up. It
does.
I think
very
it's
well.
Testament of doing lots of stuff practical that it all looks still looks very good. And it's just it was the start of superhero movies, we can do something that's more realistic and grounded. And and before that, no one, there's probably maybe something out there, but in general, I think especially through the 90s, everyone was like, oh, we can do special effects, computer graphics, generated special effects. So now we can make everything look amazing and do all these crazy things, which, those X-Men movies then were actually pretty good. At least the first 2. So it's not like there was a bad thing, but then it was Nolan's no, this is going to be more about the psychology of the character Bruce Wayne / Batman, and instead of the spectacle of it, right?
And he does that that's a staple for Nolan in general with all of his films. The psychology is so important to all these films, which is great. So it's really cool to get Batman from that angle, and get more into his head. And obviously one thing I do really love, because I agree with pretty much everything you said. And I even have a note down about the part of it, why it feels like it's more timeless and holds up a lot more is, you're right, it is a lot of practical, which is great. And that obviously really helps that even though there's still plenty of CG,
Yeah.
especially later. Like, but it's still just like that's the difference in making that grounded, gritty factor that you mentioned. That he also kind of in the superhero genre, at least, kind of started and brought everything. I mean, after that, obviously the MCU, but like before this, you were mentioning the X-Men and then like the Spider-Man movies. Wasn't the same feel as this. Like this is a whole new thing, and even the score, which when we get to that, like that even paved the way. Like the sound of the score in this paved the way for so many modern scores in general, but especially obviously superhero scores. And it's just there's just so much to this that is like the start of like a era that we're so familiar with now, and it's it's just really cool. I also love the actual origin in this of it is really cool.
Yeah, because even that's
it's a big part of the film too.
yeah, long section in the beginning, which I mean we can jump to that in a second because that's where things start. But the thing I was gonna say is when I was watching this, I was thinking, the parallel like on maybe like the Marvel like Daredevil, I think is the closest thing to this. And like, I don't know that someone would have greenlit the Daredevil shows at that type if you didn't have these films to like back it up and be like, no, this can work.
The gritty street level. Yeah, that is a big part. You're right.
So anyway,
but then the one that tried to copy it the most, but not even close, is the Arrowverse.
Yeah, but that was
Arrow especially was the one that was like, it wanted to be like Batman Nolan so bad, like the music, everything about it, even the way it was shot, but obviously it was like really cheap budget.
Like really budget. Low budget because it's like CW budget.
Yeah, and it was like 20 episodes too. They were doing
to crank them out.
Yeah.
And then you had to make sure there was love, triangles and things.
Yes. There's a lot of that too. Yeah.
Because all those shows always have to have that.
They always had it was
where Nolan's like, we're not even gonna let the women talk much, but
that was the CW way. And then all the way into Riverdale. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the these kind of like the opening stuff with either there's the the back childhood trauma, like seeing that, but it's kind of intertwined. It's not like they just give us all of it. They give it that little one scene, and then we kind of cut to him being in
prison. It jumps around like several different
couple periods. Well, it kind of, I don't think does it jump to modern day?
No, there's like, so
not he's back into
because there's Kid Bruce, obviously where it starts, and he first sees the bats and like is the whole origin of like his fear. We get like college Bruce, where he's got like more of his like the bangs, like it's literally all they did to make him look younger. They just changed his hair a little bit. And then we have him then going to Ra's al Ghul. So that's 3.
Right, because like you're right, because it's like the college where he's like gonna shoot the guy.
Yeah.
And then
there's all that.
And then he runs away, basically. It's like after the trial. He kind of runs away.
Yeah. And then there's I guess that's part of Kid Bruce after the well and all that he does, like obviously is the whole
we go to the opera and get shot.
Which even that, because now superhero films, because it's the origin's been done so much, like they don't really do that anymore, but this is done I think so well. And even that part where like everyone is so familiar with that part of Batman's origin, it's quick, and it's like, I don't know, it's done well. And like I said, the whole League of Shadows thing is so cool, and I love how much they like delve into that part of his origin. Is great.
I was gonna say, I think it's important. Those parts are important to show
for sure
when you're gonna lean into the psychology of it, and because that's what's driving him is these two traumas from his childhood, one, falling in the well and the bats and things, and then two, even maybe more so, losing his parents and not just them dying, but the fact that he was there when they got shot at gunpoint. But then also having that trauma of, he was driving him for a little while as a revenge, and then you're still part of it. Part of the setup of the trauma is like the guy gets killed by somebody else, and he doesn't even get the satisfaction of killing the guy.
Yep.
And that's when he really decides to disappear for a while, because he's like basically lost all meaning. Because what drove him from the point he lost his parents to like that point was like, oh, I can get my revenge.
Yeah, and this is there's a crucial moment right after that where he sees someone else ending up murdering the guy. He has a conversation with Rachel, and yeah, like it's great how they frame it to where he's like, to your point about revenge, and then
just slaps him.
Yeah, revenge versus justice, and trying to get that through his head, and then eventually, obviously, it's great because it's a great callback then to like at the end when he basically says that to her, but he's Batman. And that's finally the moment where she even's like, "Oh, okay, it's you, Bruce." Yeah, so all that like is that's an important factor in the psychology. His I guess his motives for why he wants to avenge his parents, but then ultimately what that changes to after that, to like and obviously what all happens at the League of Shadows and with Ra's al Ghul or Ducard. Merely Ducard.
So then training with the League of Shadows, I mean, what's cooler than Batman? Ninjas. So let's make Batman a ninja, basically.
I know.
So, I mean, that, I don't know, because this is not,
yeah.
I don't know enough about Batman comics. I've never read really a Batman comic, so I don't know if this is, but I was like, well, that's a cool way to kind of explain his ability to, sneak around and kind of get around and be more, is like, oh, he trained as a ninja, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that is canon. Like, that is why he knows all that. And it's just done really well in this movie. That's why I wanted to mention it, because it is cool to see him learning everything that he eventually utilizes and can do as Batman. And especially obviously like the whole assassin stealth aspect of it. It's so cool, like just moving between the people, and then he finally like learns and gets the jump on Ra's al Ghul. I guess I should call him Ducard right now, but anyway. But like that moment's really cool.
Yeah, when he cuts the couple other guys.
Yeah, he cuts all the
not all of them. I don't think he does all of them, but he does a couple of them so that he can't figure out who, because he got the cut.
Yeah,
was like, oh, now I'm gonna look different. So then he cuts a couple other guys in the same spot, and then he blends in to the line and leaves one of the other guys
right.
Kind of tricks him that way.
Yeah, all that is this whole section's great, and then even again, to go even further, because I'm sure this is such a core thing of not only this film, but all the Batman films and pretty much every Nolan movie, but like the psychology. So like even at the end of this section where what they ask him to do with the prisoner.
The execution.
Yeah. And it's like, and he's basically saying like,
I can't do that.
That's not, yeah. And so he's wrestling with that same thing that he was just talking about with Rachel too, with the justice versus revenge. Mm-hmm. And he kind of understands like what he can actually do for his city instead of just being an executioner. Yeah, to your point. It's great.
Well, then what is justice, right? Like,
yep. That's another thing he's wrestling with. Yeah. He's kind of just forming in every way, not just learning all his abilities, but like forming what is his moral code as Batman. Like all that, like he's formulating. And obviously, Alfred I don't know why I was blanking for a second on his name. Alfred then obviously informs him or really helps him shape that morality in a lot of ways too. Well, I guess his father too when he was young, like the quote and everything. But Alfred definitely reinforces all that in a big way.
He does. So then he returns to Gotham.
So just real quick, just because we mentioned Alfred, I just wanted to mention both Michael Caine and Cillian Murphy. This is obviously the start of a very long-running relationship with both of these actors and Nolan, which is just awesome.
Yeah, and then you wonder, also interesting though, like when, and we talked about this before with other directors, but it's like, and then there's the people that they worked with once and then they don't work with them again. And it can be...
Yeah, like Guy Pearce, we were talking about that with Memento.
Yeah. And Guy Pearce is a good example of like, he's a good actor.
He's great in that, yeah.
Katie Holmes, like I can see why you don't work with her again, right?
Yeah, not great.
But in some cases, in some of the other directors, like it's just, it's just interesting. And it's, it's not, it doesn't necessarily always correlate to their skill level as much as it probably does them just connecting as people, right? Like, you just, sometimes you have a more direct connection with someone and you guys just like click, and then other people you don't. Doesn't mean they're good or bad at what they do. Yeah. And so it's just interesting.
Well, and then Katie Holmes, I mean, they corrected it because the next film, it's a different actor. It's Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I know, but
for Dark Knight.
We'll talk about that.
I mean, I don't honestly, I don't think Maggie Gyllenhaal is great for that role as well.
I don't think that was good casting. Yeah.
No, I don't think either one is. But besides that, he's pretty great, like across the board casting with these films. It's just that one is strange.
Well, let's just say maybe he struggles casting women.
Yeah, I would say so.
Maybe.
That's why he normally just lets them be dead in his films. That's the Nolan way. Just make them be a dead wife or I
think Hilary Swank did all right in the last film. But she also was more of a supporting character.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of depth to her though. Yeah.
No. All right, so he returns to Gotham. And Gotham is falling apart.
So I wanted to also ask you about we don't have to have the whole big argument of who's the best Batman. I mean, we can if you want, but kind of going into these films, always like the question of who's the best Bruce Wayne versus who's the best Batman. You think about the different people that have played these, and like normally it's, I don't know, I would say it's hard to get both of those, Bruce Wayne and Batman, like an actor that can do both of those very well. And I think Christian Bale is I think he's great as both. Like he comes pretty close to doing both roles so well. And it's funny, even when you see him as Bruce in this, there is moments, and I think this helps, even though that's an extreme, but like you see a little bit of Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. And when he's Bruce, just the way he talks, but obviously he's not a sociopath like he is in that. But you can still see remnants of that, I feel like, because I mean that was only 5 years before this. That was in 2000. But anyway, I think he's great as both. The only thing is, and I'm curious what you think, because it's not as bad in this film, but it's bad in the next two Batman films. But his Batman voice. It's more subtle in this one, so I actually don't mind it as much. But it gets silly in The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and I think it sounds bad at certain points. His Batman voice to me. Okay, I've always felt that way, but yeah, I don't know how you feel about it.
I've never had an issue with it, so I guess I don't. I never even thought that it got worse in the other ones.
It's more subtle, I've noticed in this one. Like he doesn't, I don't know. It's more of like a mix of his normal voice and the Batman voice.
I wonder if
So he's still probably workshopping it.
Yeah, or I also wonder if this was more like it really is, and then the other ones maybe they're doing some processing to it to make it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see when I watch them through this time, we'll see if it's any better or worse or the same, how I feel about it, the voice. But
Yeah, I just think, I mean, it's distinct enough that, and it's like, where does that, I mean, where does that come from? It's, wouldn't, it was not something I ever watched very much anyway, but there was the old Batman TV show. Did he change his voice there?
The animated show? The Batman
not
animated?
live action.
Oh, from like the 60s.
Yes.
Oh, that one I don't really remember as much, but that's the Adam West original,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I don't remember if he did even change.
No, I know in the where Michael Keaton plays him, right? Not Michael Keaton, Michael.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's in the first Batman.
Yeah, first Batman.
Yeah.
Like he changes his voice there.
Yes.
And so I'm just curious, like, where did that start? Like,
Right.
Who did that first? Or is that something that's distinctly even spelled out in the comic, right? Like, because in the comic books, they wouldn't have to say he changes his voice.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be, so it was like, was that something that was kind of created once it moved to television or film? And then, of course, once it was established, then, you know, obviously this is not the first instance of that, because I know it was done in that film.
Yeah, the cartoon, the animated show, which is so good, and I loved it growing up. That definitely there is a switch in the voice even in that show between Bruce and Batman. So, well, what do you? Do you feel like as a whole though? Do you think Christian Bale is pretty high up there for both Batman and Bruce Wayne, or you think some ones are better?
I mean, I think so. It's been a really long time since I've seen any of the other stuff other than the more recent.
I was gonna say I really like Robert Pattinson's like more emo Batman. I think that's great.
Like his Batman, but I don't like his Bruce Wayne.
Sure.
And
I
also didn't
that.
give us very much of it either.
No, they didn't.
But even what we got was not.
Yeah.
But his Batman was good.
Yeah. It's just like the more goth Batman, which I think is cool. Like
no, it was like, hey, you thought Nolan was dark and emo? Let's turn that dial up.
Yep. And just throw some Nirvana on under it the whole movie.
Yeah. Go full on 90s emo or early 2000s emo.
Yeah. It's no, yeah, I really like that version too, but
you are getting a second film at some point.
Finally, yeah, but it's
took a while.
Long time, yeah.
But yeah, I heard the old one. I mean, other than Jack Nicholson being, and it's so funny because like, I mean that original film, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Tim Burton, yeah,
and the people playing them, you're like, okay, this is good, and it's like no one you wouldn't guess that you're like, oh, we need to redo that and we can make it better, right?
Right.
And then
both Batman and the Joker, you're saying, yeah, I know,
you're right.
It's true.
And so it was just, it's just fascinating. But and then you got like, I mean, to throw in there just because we're talking about, I mean, we might come up in 2 weeks when we talk about the Dark Knight, but then you even have, the Joker movie, and then that Joker, who's also a fantastic performance as Joker, and also kind of even leaning more into even more grounded Joker than the Nolan Joker. So it's kind of like the same version of the same thing, like leaning into like.
Yeah, and then we even got it got cut out of the film, but like, we get that. We get a Joker scene even in the Matt Reeves Batman with Barry Keoghan, which was interesting, and he was good as well. We didn't get a lot of it, but like, it is interesting getting so many different now at this point, like watching this film and then it's in 2026, which now, I mean, this film even 21 years old, like how many versions of a character we've gotten. But then like when we get to the Dark Knight though, it's like, but then there's still some that just like will never be topped performance wise. Which is, I'm sure is a lot of that pod. We're going to probably discuss that.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Never know. All right. So just kind of the sequence of the, I also like the process of like discovering and getting to the point of Batman, right? Like the full symbol, right? Because he doesn't have it all right away. And then as he goes out and he's like, oh wait, I need something like this. I need this. So like he's slowly iterating on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like seeing all those
and like becoming the Batman, and not, it's not just right away. Cause he, right away he was just like, oh, I just want something that's protective, that's black, that I can go out and do my ninja thing basically. And
then we see Gordon that time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's only in like a black outfit, and he's even just holding up a stapler to him behind his head. Like it's just, yeah. And then you see him kind of fumble getting away and still learning then as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. Where he jumps off the building and then realizes, oh, I need something to glide. And then he gets that. And even that stuff like seemed all very realistic, right? Like the grappling hook and like a fabric.
His explanation too was great. Like, Lucius Fox, Morgan Freeman, like saying like, yeah, this is stuff from the government. He's like, oh, well, why didn't they use it? And it's like, what does he say? Something like 30 million a person. He's like, they're not gonna, or the line is very good because he's like, the government didn't feel like that's worth a life or whatever. He says something like that, 30 million a suit or something, which is where he gets the actual, the starting material for the Batman suit. Yeah.
But like the fabric thing, and then even the vehicle,
just a tank, and then, and then of course does it come in black?
Yeah, great line.
Yep,
something I say all the time. Does this come in black?
You're telling me.
This is nice, but does it come in black?
Yeah. Well, we covered the Lego movie not too long ago. How's he say it in that? I forget. Something about black.
You're right. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, my two favorite colors are black and dark gray.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and then like, that's also Will Arnett doing the voice, and like again to the point of the voices, like
and that's like a parody version of
the voice
that's already like, I think he's going off of the Bale voice essentially, and it's like, and that's why I don't know, maybe I'll feel differently going through. I just remember at some point, maybe it's like when he's Batman and he's like gets excited, or he's talking, or he's trying, or he's like, sometimes when he yells too, it's just like it gets bad at certain points. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, it's not as bad, and it's subtle in this, but so one other thing I wanted to mention with Alfred, just again, Michael Caine, amazing, but like it's like almost every line of his, and this will continue obviously in The Dark Knight, it's just like little slices of wisdom. He's just like constantly giving Bruce, and obviously Michael Caine saying it just makes it hit even harder,
Yes, 100%.
It's the best.
All right, so what are your thoughts on the Scarecrow as a character, the fear toxin, all that stuff?
Oh, love it. I'm curious, if how you feel about it too, but, and I mean, Cillian Murphy, even at this point in 2005, crushes this role. He's so good, and I think he should be in it even more. Like we don't get him that much in this.
Yeah.
So
what's what I think, because when you do the origin story and you do it so in depth, that you do, like I think one of the, I don't know, say the quote unquote faults, but I think one of the things that then weaker is like the actual villain, right? That
we don't get as much time to build him up either. Yeah.
And so, cause I don't know when I didn't clock the time, but it's probably about halfway in the movie before you even like really get to see the Scarecrow and start understanding what's even happening there. Yep. So it's interesting though, cause you see
I mean, I can't remember if there's anything before 2005 that I saw Cillian Murphy in, but like seeing him in this, it's like you already can see how good of an actor he is. But even there are certain lines, he's the way he says it in this film, like the inflection of his voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of Thomas Shelby already. I heard at times, like it's just the way he says certain lines. I'm like, okay, he already has little seeds of that in his performance too. It's great.
Yeah, and then and then
how did you feel about him? Did you?
Yeah, no, I think the character itself and the concept around it and Cillian Murphy's performance, all fantastic.
Yeah,
I think even like we were talking about, but even the effect of like the way they do that,
love it.
Like
I have that in
most of it
cinematography.
is yeah, okay,
It's really cool.
like I think I don't really know, but I think there's definitely just doing something in camera to really make most of it blurry. Like that's got to be some just kind of
I was going to ask you
lens
about
distortion
it.
or something. Yeah. I don't really know, but obviously then when you see some of the imagery or like a bat's coming out of his mouth or whatever, like that, obviously some of that stuff had to be added in probably and with special effects, but in general, I think the effect is
It's awesome.
pretty but what I think is, again, talking to the origin and bringing the League of Shadows and the Scarecrow, kind of having the dual, is then I think he gets cut short and doesn't get right, because then he has to be taken care of first before, or like kind of has to be, shortchanged and before, because the supposedly the big bad is right.
No, you're right, because that's the point. Like near the end where he's like on the horse, and then like that's it. Then he just kind of like goes off because he gets hit with his own toxin. Is that what happens? I think.
Yeah.
So, and then it's just like that's all we get of him. Yeah. So like that's a bummer. But I mean, Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul is so great too. Like, and their whole confrontation at the end is really great as well. You know what though? One thing I was like, man, this is kind of messed up, is that when he like leaves Bruce at his house and like burns down his house, and he basically says like, now like we're even, and he says like something like, you left me for dead. Dude, Bruce he saved him literally off the cliff, like, and like pulled him up and then brought him to some person and basically said like, make sure he's all right. But in Ra's al Ghul's eyes, he's saying, you left me for dead. But that's not it. I mean, the only thing that is true though is like, he did burn down the League of Shadows, whatever building. But that's what, like he said, he's like, I was doing what's necessary. So I don't know. It's just like kind of Ra's al Ghul's motive. Sometimes I'm like, what's going on? A little inconsistent.
Yeah. So Rachel's character, definitely is like, the moral, like the moral compass for him, right? But like we talked about, like she doesn't have much to do, really.
No.
And it's kind of unfortunate.
And then she just gets drugged. And then he just has to like race back to get the antidote. Yeah. So I do want to go back to a little bit before that. You were kind of already talking about like the different scenes you see of Bruce like slowly becoming Batman. But I just wanted to point out the actual first appearance that he's fully Batman at the docks is just sick. And I love the way they do it too is really cool to reveal, because it's just very quick you know, cuts and like you really see it from like the villain's angle, where they're just like they've only heard rumors at this point, and then they see these like quick like cuts of like someone in the shadows, and just a really great reveal all the way to, I think you finally see him with Falcone at the end, right? Of the dock scene.
Do you get to see him fully?
Or at least you see that's the first time you see Batman's face with the cowl on, I think.
Yeah. Cause then you don't really see what he does with him until later when the cops show up, and he's kind of like a blurred outline of a bat, you know, signal there.
Well, that's another cool thing. Yeah. It's like the foreshadowing of the,
it's funny because like it's one of those things where like I was watching it and I was like, yeah, you know, you're like, I want it to be that, I mean, it does a good job of this, but the balance of like, it needs to be kind of like it, but I don't want it to be so literal, because it needs to look naturally that a human body with like their clothes could make it look like that.
Yes.
But then you want it to look enough like it that all the audience that knows the bat signal was going to see it and be like, oh, it kind of looks like a bat. Yeah.
I think they did that line pretty well.
Yeah.
In between, that's tough to do. Yeah, you're right.
So then what do you think of the finale on the train, kind of bringing full, so the train's what his dad built, like kind of,
all that's great.
The train symbolizes like the stuff his dad wanted to do with Gotham to make it better, and of course when we see it again for the first time, it's actually when Rachel's character is like riding it, right, and you see how run down it is gotten in that time, that 20 years or whatever it's been.
All that is great. I do think, and like I said, especially that encounter, Bruce and Ra's al Ghul is good, but I do think as a whole, that third act is not quite as good as the beginning of the film. I think. I don't know how you feel about it, but
no, I agree.
It's a little weaker. It's still, like we said, the movie's great still overall anyway, though, but it's just a little more, I don't know. I think it was hard to manage, but they did obviously a really good job because there's so many characters. But like we were talking about the Scarecrow, it's like at the end, it's just him. And then to your point, you're talking about, then you got to get him out of the way to then bring Ra's al Ghul back front and center as the main villain. Little confusing, like ultimately what he wanted to do with the toxin. It's like in the water, but then they said it has to be inhaled.
Well, because that thing would vaporize it. So once it's in the water system, it would get into the air. But it's like, it all goes back to in the beginning when the Ra's al Ghul tells them that, well, Gotham needs to be destroyed. It's what the League of Shadows has been doing for years.
Oh yeah, he talks about like Rome and like all going all the way back, all the different things they were involved with.
So it's like claiming that like, hey, we know and pull the strings on when cities can rise and when cities need to fall.
Right.
And so they're just claiming that Gotham just needs to fall, like it needs to go down. For whatever reason. They don't really give a reason.
No. I mean, Bruce is like, no, I still, think there's hope for the city, which is obviously like he's taking on what his dad was doing, just in a different way, obviously, but trying to keep that legacy going.
I love the I know we haven't really talked about like the more corporate stuff, and love like the moment when a couple of different times when he comes back and he's like just golfing with the secretary or whatever, and then he's like, oh, you're supposed to be dead, but then later when he pulls the little switcheroo and regains the company
right
from him, he's like,
because he buys all the shares
through another entity and
takes out Rutger Hauer. And Lucius Fox is now in charge, which is great. And he gives that line right back to him. Didn't you get the memo? Yeah, great moment.
Good full callbacks, like writing, like stuff. Yeah. And that was just like a small subplot thread of stuff that's happening. But
really funny, I think underrated line is Lucius telling Bruce when I believe it's when he's figuring out how to synthesize the antidote. He's going through all his detail. And then Bruce is like, am I supposed to know what that means? He's like, no. He's like, I just wanted you to know it was really hard to do. or he says something like that.
You're right.
It's so great. He's like, I just wanted you to know how hard I worked on it or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
This kind of, some of the stuff's always never know where to put it, but like, I did want to say that I noticed there's a couple times I felt this way. And it was especially in the finale fight scene. Like things get a little chaotic in the choreography and camera work of some of these fight scenes.
Yep.
But I mean, I noticed it right off the bat, like the first, when he's in the prison, even and like fighting multiple guys at once. And I'm like, is this a little like almost like that? Cause remember we talked about this on which podcast, I don't remember now, but where there was like that trend that came from, I think, the Bourne. I think it came from the Bourne movies, but then, you saw it show up in the James Bond movies, you saw it show up, like, it was like, we're like, oh, we're just going to have it close up shots of this like action and fighting. And then the camera's not even going to be still. And so then it's going to be chaotic and feel very intense and energetic. And then that lasted for a hot second now, and then we thankfully got away from that because it was, almost makes you like give you a headache while trying to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but this had, I wouldn't say as extreme as others, but it's still like a hint of that kind of in the fighting. And so there's maybe a moment that didn't hold up, right? Like it's like
true. But you're right though. They don't get too crazy with it. So it's still enough restraint to where any of the fight scenes, it doesn't get to that level of like, any of the Bourne movies where it's like, that's just borderline unwatchable at times.
So, and I'll just say, so then I don't have a problem with this, but where he just lets Ra's al Ghul, like, doesn't save them.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Batman,
right? Batman never kills people.
He doesn't kill people, right. But like I feel like he's I don't know. There's something about it, like maybe it's just the darker gothic feel of it. But I just feel like he's a little bit more in that gray in that area, even. Whereas like, because a reason I was bringing this up is because then the Superman movie, that was one of the things that really bothered me.
Okay.
At the end, where he kind of lets that one guy die.
Oh, the new Superman.
Like the new, well, not new.
Well, which movie are you talking about?
The one that was in this universe, the Zack Snyder one that came right after this.
Oh, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember watching that movie, and that was one of the things that
I'm trying to remember though how you're talking about with Zod at the end.
Yes,
it's been a while since I've seen that movie.
I just remember that movie. I was like, okay, they were trying to kind of piggyback off of the success of the Nolan films and do a Superman and a little bit more in that vein. And I think, some of the stuff worked. And then obviously I think Henry Cavill was a great Superman and love him in lots of stuff. But there was just that one thing, because I feel like Superman, just like Captain America, has like this like higher, like they don't live close to the edge at all. And then it was like that one, and I was like, no, that does not work for Superman.
Okay. I do remember us having debates about this with the new Superman movie coming out. We were talking about, or I think we discussed this about how like, you didn't think, even though obviously Henry Cavill is so good as an actor as Superman, but that character, you were saying there's certain things that just
right.
doesn't.
Yes, that's maybe why when we were talking about it,
Yep.
we covered
You were like, Superman wouldn't do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's not him as an actor's fault. Like that's the writing and the like, yeah, directing. But wherever that decision was made exactly, but
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a while, but I don't think it was very good.
Yeah.
Overall,
I think it was
had good moments.
Yeah,
I remember, but
yeah, I mean they were just, again. I think it was David S. Goyer. I think
same.
wrote that too, like the screenplay for that. I think,
And that's the guy that originally was on Foundation,
correct,
right?
Yeah,
And then left.
yeah,
yeah.
just recently,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
For like that, between they announced it as that season was coming out,
Yeah.
so he worked on
First
season
three.
three. He worked
Yeah.
on season 3. Well, he's the one that developed that show. I mean, it
Yes.
was like his idea how to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then just wanted to mention the Joker tease.
Very cool.
Yes.
Seeing the calling card. Yep.
So, and I don't know, and I didn't see this in the trivia when I was pulling stuff. Did he already know he was going to do a second movie at that point?
I don't know. I was wondering that too. I mean, I guess so. If you're going to throw this
Or
in,
maybe you just throw it in because you're like, well,
just in case.
Because I mean, I'm sure if the movie didn't do well, Warner Bros. would be like, no, we're not doing a second one. So like, there's never a guarantee unless they've written a contract for 3 films, and we're like, oh, we're going to make all 3 of these films regardless. Which I mean, normally they don't do that, but
right.
there's always caveats in that stuff.
Yes.
Hey, we're going to contractually make sure if we want to do more, you're going to have to do them. We'll do that with the talent and different things, but then they still always had that out of like, but we don't want to make it, so we're not going to make it.
Yep.
Because they didn't make money or something. But still, it's a cool, and I think it was also smart. And this is just again smart not to use Joker, the most famous Batman villain, in the first film.
I agree.
And save it for the second film. Or save it for later, so to speak.
So my last thing I have as far as notes is kind of 2 lines, and it has to do with the ending. So the first one, it kind of is a through line through the whole film, just like the why do we fall, Bruce, that whole thing. But Bruce saying to Alfred, you still haven't given up on me yet. I love it. Alfred's always like, never. And then the final thing, where you're talking about the Joker calling card, amazing final line of the film. Gordon, I was going to say Commissioner Gordon. He's not commissioner yet. Not till the next film.
Not yet.
Gordon says to Batman, I never said thank you. And Batman says, and you'll never have to.
Yeah.
And then credits.
Yeah.
Great way to end it.
Detective Gordon.
It's weird to see. Yeah. You always want to say commissioner.
Yeah.
It's weird to hear Detective Gordon.
But I think it does again, another, I don't know where the comics land on it and stuff,
Right.
but wherever that choice came, I think it was a good choice to kind of have him also move up, and just as kind of,
Oh yeah,
as Batman starts cleaning things up, he needs that person that can help from the inside.
For sure.
That's going to try to actually stand for truth and is not corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Well, let's get into cinematography. So, a lot of the opening stuff with the stuff in the Himalayas, just
Looked
looks
amazing.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Did they really shoot it there?
I don't know.
Mean,
Again,
it looks.
I didn't see anything in the trivia
Okay.
specific. So, but yeah, it looked
Yeah,
good.
beautiful landscape. Yeah, all of it.
Then Gotham City, which was Pittsburgh. They shot in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. I thought it was always supposed to be Chicago, like as a stand-in for New York as the city of Gotham. I thought they would shoot in Chicago.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm misremembering. I thought they used Pittsburgh.
I don't know. No, you could be right. Maybe in one of the other films, maybe they shoot in Chicago. You know, because I mean, all three of these, I don't know, they could have been shot in different places. So I already mentioned the visual effect with the hallucinogen, the scarecrow. You were already mentioning it too.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing effect. They do it a little bit even in League of Shadows too, right? When he's breathing in the stuff, and then
yeah, very similar.
yeah, really cool effect.
So they shot the main visual identity of Gotham in Batman Begins in The Dark Knight. Chicago's a mix of modern skyscrapers, alleys, elevators. So they shot in Chicago.
For those two movies.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh became the primary Gotham in The Dark Knight Rises.
That one, okay. Oh yeah, because they get the
football stadium explosion.
Yep, that's right.
They used New York City some for Dark Knight Rises as well.
Mm-hmm.
For the Wall Street Stock Exchange.
Right.
The Hong Kong appears as itself in The Dark Knight. And London and parts of the UK were used for interiors, Wayne Manor, and additional Gotham scenes throughout the trilogy.
Okay. So my only other thing, cinematography-wise, we kind of also already talked about, but we just love how much of this film is practical.
Mm-hmm.
And then just Nolan doing that very gritty, real street level feel. He kind of pioneered that for this, that then like would bring you so much other stuff, especially like you mentioned Daredevil and all that street like Hell's Kitchen stuff that Marvel does now. Yeah, I don't think you would have any of that, or would even feel like that at all if you didn't have this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we already talked about the fighting style and just kind of obscuring it and
yep.
And the toxins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Batmobile. Some cool shots with the tumbler.
Oh, for sure. You know what? There is one more shot. I want to say halfway through the film, like an aerial shot of him very high up,
mm-hmm.
and he's actually like perched like a gargoyle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Awesome shot. That was I want to say it's about like halfway through the film.
And
that one in particular stood out.
And that's practical film shot too, because you can tell, at least I can tell, like the camera work was definitely from a helicopter.
Yeah.
Not a drone. It
did look like that,
which is like nowadays you would do something like that even with a drone,
right,
with the camera.
But yeah, in 05, yeah.
Yeah, it was still helicopter.
Definitely helicopter.
I mean, obviously he was shooting on film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I'm wondering, like, and that's another thing I was thinking, because like this film is definitely dark, but then like but then we talk about the Batman and it's like feels like it's even darker, right?
Yes.
And of course that was the DP was
Greg Fraser.
Yeah. And but also wondered, did they shoot that on film or not? Because I think that might be something.
Oh, right, because you're saying you get those different
you get a different
levels?
dynamic range,
right,
on digital, and kind of control it better.
Yeah.
And so of course I'm sure, like it's just like anything, if you know what you're doing, someone who knows what they're doing can do a better job with film than somebody that doesn't know what they're doing with digital. But but I I'm just curious, like I'm like that one, by that point did they shoot that on film or not? Because it definitely has like a very, like just like a lot, seems like it just has a lot more control of the darks and being able to still see stuff a little bit in the dark, but like it's still being dark. And my hunch is that has more because they probably shot it digitally.
Okay.
But that's just a guess. But this still has very like film noir kind of style
definitely.
to it, and which that one even leads into more because trying to make him almost feel like a detective.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the score.
Okay. Always let you go first. In
Yeah,
case
I mean,
you have
this is, to me, the biggest thing to say is like, this feels like classic Hans Zimmer,
Mm-hmm.
but then also classic Nolan. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I talked about before, like some of those, like, there's something about, and I don't know how I'll describe it, honestly, other than just, there's certain, like, use like a cliche word nowadays, vibe to it
Mm-hmm.
that I heard in some of the previous films from our other guy. So like I was like, to me, that means that there's something that shapes something about Christopher Nolan's of what he wants that's shaping the way these composers are doing it. Because also, and I'm not an expert of Hans Zimmer, but like when he became on my radar was like this stuff from Nolan, and it's like, and then you like, I don't know what he was doing before and what his stuff sounded like before, right? Like what his Hans Zimmer stuff sounded in the 90s before he, worked with, and then did it sound like this, or is this more of like Nolan's influence on what he wants that then pushed?
I think this is just like a different sound. I mean, that's one of the reasons why he's one of the best, Hans Zimmer, because this is like it's like another season of him, because before this, some of the stuff he did, like even like I mentioned, like The Holiday, which is a rom-com, but like incredible score, and that's Hans Zimmer. And like so good, but obviously very different. But then like I want to say he did like Gladiator, which is like, that's a big, you would think of like a big epic score,
orchestral score, right?
Yeah, that was before
but
this.
It's also very different than this.
Yep.
And then what I was going to say that I'm more familiar with is like the Dune stuff, which is very different than this.
Right. And so that's what I was saying. Even now, he's going to another level with Dune, even, which is crazy. This is, which makes sense because he's kind of like Nolan then moved on to Ludwig as his guy. So like, this is like the start of Hans and the Nolan like feel and sound. Yep. And then they both then go to like a different,
which goes all the way through before Tenet, right? Like Tenet's the first one.
So Dunkirk, I guess, would be the last one.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah, Tenet was the first one that Ludwig did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think at least one of the films he goes back to our previous guy, though. Maybe even the next. I think maybe even for the Prestige. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I don't remember that score. I mean, I love that movie, but
yes,
I really want to.
Right. No, I love that movie too, but I don't remember the score.
I know. I really want to pay attention to the score this time. So
then the next thing that stands out to me is the Inception score.
Yes.
And that one, like, I feel like is peak this sound.
Well, he also, it's because he invents like another, just like he did with Dune, like inventing new sounds and like inventing instruments that just give this whole new sound that then a bunch of people use. Mm-hmm. So like he did that in Inception especially, and like was kind of pioneer into a whole new thing. So yeah, a lot of early on, like kind of, that's why I say modern as a whole, like the modern sounding score, like that was my main note with this, is this kind of like is the start of like the modern sounding scores in general, but especially for superhero films.
Yeah.
Like this is it. I don't know what all James Newton Howard did in addition to this. But the main theme I wanted to mention, especially that does carry over, I want to say, into the other two Batman films as well, is just the string and brass, the way they interact with each other for that main theme is just so cool. And I mean, it's hard to explain, but it's just brilliant the way he puts that theme together. And he's so good at themes in general, just like John Williams.
Yes.
Like specific composers that just can do themes so well. And so memorable.
Yeah, and then it's memorable and it's catchy enough that it sticks in your head.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so hard to do, and there's very few composers that can do it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into a little bit of trivia. Although Christian Bale did a lot of his stunts, his own stunts, he was not allowed anywhere near the Batmobile.
Okay.
So he didn't drive it at all.
All right.
Christian Bale actively disliked his uncomfortable Batman outfit, which also helped with his performance, especially in The Dark Knight, they said, as he was perpetually in a foul mood when wearing it. Nolan decided that there would be no second unit.
Really?
And so for the whole 129 shooting days, Nolan ever saw every shot of the movie personally.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a long time.
That's some commitment. Yeah,
There's no way he's doing that on all of his films after this.
it's like 6 months of filming.
Yeah,
basically, 'cause if you figure you take any days off in there.
Dang.
And around 17 minutes in, when Christian Bale and Liam Neeson were fighting on the frozen lake, they could hear the ice cracking beneath their feet.
Ooh.
The next day, the lake had completely melted.
Well, he got out of there in time.
Well, he falls through.
He does, yeah.
But I guess that didn't really happen, or whatever. How they did it.
No, I mean they had to do that. Yeah.
But all right, and then Lucy Russell, at around an hour and 9 minutes, the female lead from Following, plays a guest in the restaurant and has the second most lines of any female in the movie. She was the one sitting at the dinner table, like,
oh yeah,
and like hyping up the Batman, where everyone's like yeah,
Yes.
but the police put out. She's like, no, I think it's good what he's doing.
That's awesome.
And that was her.
Didn't know
Lucy.
that's her. Cool.
And then Jeremy Theobald, at around 2 hours, the male lead from Following, played the younger of the two Gotham Water Board technicians.
Oh, okay. I didn't focus on the way they looked, but
I just pulled those because I thought that was interesting, because obviously we covered Following.
well, yeah, and we were curious, like if these people went on to do anything. Yeah.
All right. Themes and messages. What do you think?
Themes and messages. So I didn't write down anything too crazy because, like, honestly, as a whole, this whole movie, and it gets into like the big quote that I mentioned anyways, is just like kind of encapsulated all. It's just perseverance in general, like, because that's what he has to learn through getting over his fear, which is the main thing in this, where he gets over first, but then uses it as a tool for his enemies. He even says a line about that, which is a really great line about, because Alfred asks, like, why bats, for when he's making the suit.
Yeah. I mean, basically what I kind of wrote down was what you're saying, that taking your fears and turning them into a purpose, and that you can take your trauma and it can either consume you or become something to help others.
Yes.
I think both those kind of go hand in hand in this film, and kind of what it's trying to say.
For sure.
Well, final thoughts, and the audience wise too. Like, what do you guys, and as like, this is probably the first of when he started to become famous director, like up until this point.
Yes.
Memento was definitely indie famous.
Yep.
But this was like, okay,
this is
after
the first blockbuster.
he started to become a household name, I think. And so I think a lot more people are familiar with this film. So if you have thoughts and opinions and agree or disagree with things we said or ideas around that, please, let us know. You can do that in multiple ways. One is to email us at feedback@screentimepod.com. You can, DM us or leave a comment on the videos on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And if you don't already, please like and subscribe and follow on all those platforms, and also Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you'd like to follow us each on Instagram, I'm at JYoungBar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
Okay, so next week we will discuss The Prestige as we take our journey to the Odyssey. Talk to you guys then.